As Vice-Chancellor of the University, I declare this congregation open for the conferring of degrees by the authority of the Senate and the Council. I am delighted to welcome you all to this degree congregation. It is a celebration for all those who graduate today. We celebrate your many achievements that culminate in the award of a degree from a major international research and teaching-led university. All degree ceremonies are special to the individuals who graduate. This is a special degree ceremony in several ways. First, it is part of the 80th anniversary celebrations, but it is also special to me, as it is the first graduation of students I welcomed to the university 3 years ago when I joined the University of Leicester. Since then, we have changed in size. We are now a university of 18,500 students, just over 3,000 members of staff, and we have a turnover of £150 million. We are a complex organisation. We are a business with higher education at its heart. During the time you have been in Leicester, the university has increased in intellectual stature. It is located in the top 20 universities in the UK for research and teaching. So look at it like this. If you bought a house 3 years ago, it would by now have increased in value. Similarly, I would argue, your degree is now worth much more than you could have ever expected when you joined us 3 years ago. Indeed, it is in your interest to see the University of Leicester increase in stature in the coming years, and we hope that you will do all you can to promote the university. One of the highlights of our 80th anniversary year has been the inauguration of the Institute of Lifelong Learning by the Right Honourable Estelle Maurice MP, Secretary of State for Education and Skills, when she referred to us as a role model for the higher education system. But you might ask, why should she say that? First, we are a research-intensive university contributing to the knowledge-based economy. We are in the top 10 universities in the UK for research grant and contract income received for each full-time member of staff. Teaching is at the forefront of our activities and closely linked with research. It has also been regarded as excellent by all independent assessors who have visited 12 subject departments over the last 3 years. We are involved in widening access and widening participation. But we do this not just by engaging in academic debate about lifelong learning. We actually engage with lifelong learning by attempting to attract people from different social groups to this university, so that they may share in the success in which we are involved. We meet and exceed our benchmarks. We engage in 2-year foundation degrees. And as is excellently demonstrated in this degree ceremony this afternoon, we engage in the development of part-time degrees through the BA in Humanities, an excellent example of the way in which part-time education really works and talent comes through. We are a major university that contributes to distance learning, as over 6,000 of our students are registered for distance learning courses. So this allows all of you who are graduating today to come back again to the University of Leicester. You don't need to physically come back to us. You can actually study with us from home. And just in case parents and friends are feeling a bit left out of it at the moment, can I say that if you wish to sign up for a distance learning degree, we can in fact arrange this at the end of this degree ceremony so that you can start your studies next week. you too could be on your way to a degree ceremony in the University of Leicester. But fundamental to all of this are the people who work in the university. And I'm sure in this degree ceremony, you would wish to join me in congratulating Emeritus Professor Bill Forster and our honorary graduate, Helaine Blumenfeld, who have, with a team drawn from almost every area of the university, organised a most magnificent sculpture show in our botanic gardens, which I do recommend you all to go and see before you leave Leicester this weekend. It brings great credit on the university. But people work in different ways for the university. And I would like to, in this degree ceremony in particular, to thank Dr. Wendy Hickling very much indeed for all her contributions to the university. She was the first University of Leicester graduate, but it's even more special than that in this degree ceremony. She was a first Leicester graduate who read a degree in the Faculty of Arts. And in the last 20 years, she has served on the university's council, contributing to the university in a very distinguished way. And we thank you very much indeed for that, Wendy. Thank you. But what are the challenges for universities and for the University of Leicester? Firstly, we need to continue to recruit high-quality students and to provide a high-quality experience for them. We need to continue to develop the contribution the university makes to the city, the county, and the region through innovative activity. We need to develop new forms of learning, whether they are by distance learning, whether they are local partnerships, or through electronic means. We need to develop our library both physically and electronically, and I am sure that graduates in this degree ceremony will be delighted to hear that on Monday of this week we agreed that we would build the University Library extension in the next 2 years. The University of Leicester has much to contribute. We hope you will continue to keep in touch with us and to encourage us in our endeavours. Finally, I would like to congratulate all of you on the degrees you have obtained. The class of 2002 has maintained high standards. We hope you will keep in touch with the university, and I shall look forward to meeting you at alumni events in the future. But before I close, I would like you to join me in showing your appreciation to your parents, relatives, friends and sponsors who have supported you all the way through your educational process until the point where you have arrived here today. Now, every year, the Faculty of Arts is always the very first faculty to graduate, and medicine is always the last one. So when we run a situation where we want to see how loudly and how well faculties can applaud, it always seems to me that arts is at a bit of a disadvantage. So this year, you have a real opportunity to show that you can applaud even better than any medical faculty, not just this year, but also in previous years. And to demonstrate that, I'd like you to now join with me in applauding those people who have helped you through to this point in time. Well, that's very good. I can see that arts can rise to a challenge when it's available. Have an enjoyable day, applaud your fellow students, and all good wishes to you in your future careers.
In an exceptionally distinguished career, Maurice Beresford has transformed the world of local history and invented a whole new field of study. His work on lost settlements and the development of towns has changed our view of economic history, and his ability to write for a general audience has made the subject accessible to all. Maurice grew up in modest circumstances at Sutton Coldfield and attended the local grammar school. Despite his father's desire that he become a pharmaceutical chemist, Maurice's talents and interests drew him to history. He gained a scholarship to Cambridge and, following a first in the preliminary examinations, was invited to a seminar on economic history led by a charismatic tutor, John Saltmarsh, which was to set his academic interest for life. A student assignment allowed him to combine his fascination with maps and his historical skills in a study of the agricultural history of his home area. The work, accepted for publication whilst he was still a student, demonstrated his exceptional talent from the very beginning, a distinctive approach combining the study of documents with an appreciation of landscape and material remains. Despite his double first, a burning sense of social justice led him away from academia for a while, first working as an early type of social worker in Birmingham, then as an adult education tutor in Rugby. His academic drive never waned, however, and combining his interests in local history and walking, he studied the local agricultural history. In 1946, he found what he describes as his personal road to Damascus, the sudden realization that earthworks in the Leicestershire parish of Bittersby were in fact a deserted village. Maurice believed that such deserted villages were widespread, not a view shared by his senior academic colleagues, who were none too supportive of these heretical ideas. He did, however, find support from the University of Leicester, where Hoskins was working along very similar lines. Unfazed, Maurice turned archaeologist, and with the help of local school pupils, he successfully excavated the church walls of the lost village of Stretton Baskerville, near Hinckley. In 1948, Maurice returned to the academic fold as lecturer in economic history at the University of Leeds, where he has remained ever since, becoming a professor in 1960. A new area meant a search for new lost villages. The villageless parish of Warham Percy was to be a focus of work for 40 years, and to this day a national heritage site. Maurice assembled a multidisciplinary team, a novel academic concept in those days, to draw together different types of evidence: documents, including maps, aerial photographs made available in high quality by the technology developed in the Second World War, and the input of archaeologists led by John Hirst, fresh from his studies at Cambridge. Every summer, an ever larger army of volunteers were marshalled and organized by Maurice, who took great care to create a lively intellectual and social environment for his research. By autumn 1952, Maurice had completed his seminal work, The Lost Villages of England, published in 1954. Still, some senior colleagues were disbelieving. One sent a postcard. "I feel impelled to advise you whether you should really go ahead with such a book." Again, Maurice stuck to his guns and published. The last 48 years have demonstrated how wrong his colleague was. Over the next 4 decades, Maurice published a series of books and articles, including the comprehensive aerial survey of medieval England and History on the Ground. Maurice is firmly established in the elite of historians. He's been recognized by his peers in election to Fellowship of the British Academy and many other distinguished awards. His exceptional talent for writing, however, also made him familiar to a general audience. He has made his work accessible to all and stimulated interest in local history around the country. He went on to work in many other areas, including the development of towns in the Middle Ages, and given his adopted home the 19th century development of Leeds. Maurice has combined his academic career, including great involvement in university life, with a continuing passion for social justice. He has worked tirelessly for offenders, including work with Leeds Prison and a special interest in young offenders. His entry in Who's Who lists one of his interests as delinquency, which surely means the amelioration of the problem rather than the practice of it. He continued his adult education work throughout his career, and when chairing faculty board meetings at the university, he made sure that the more rambling discussions were contained so that the board could finish in time for him to set off to his class in the prison. Maurice is clearly a man who inspires devotion in colleagues, who speak warmly of his talents and foibles. The professor with the dog is a familiar figure in the University of Leeds, and his talks attract audiences from all walks of life. Maurice is a true academic, showing us all how intellectual activity and research can enrich our lives and inform our society. The world of history owes him an enormous debt. Mr. Vice-Chancellor, on the recommendation of Senate and Council, I present Maurice Warwick Beresford that you may confer upon him the honorary degree of Doctor of Letters.
I admit you to the honorary degree of Doctor of Letters and welcome you among us. Many congratulations.
Thank you. Fellow graduates and graduates-to-be and friends, visitors, I'm allowed through an infirmity to be able to sit through the rest of the ceremony without, I hope, disrespect. Better that than show too much infirmity by falling over or something of that sort. Sitting down like this and seeing faces in front of me is rather more, therefore, like giving a tutorial than giving a lecture, although I've rarely lectured to quite so many people, or so many who, anyway, at the moment, are attentive. All over Britain these weeks, with the excitement of finals and tennis being over, the English are devoting themselves to this particular type of pageantry, where generation after generation of students come in this sort of pageant and procession with their families and with their teachers to receive the degree. In doing that, they are already encircled by history, not least of all by what we, the graduates today and the graduates today, are wearing. That is a dress that is now a little outmoded for public use, but which was once the normal dress of the clerical, of members of the clergy in Britain, particularly before the Reformation, since when it's become much more an academic dress only. I was reminded of this by reading the reaction only last week of the mother of a well-known honorary graduate, not of this university, but much better known than me anyway, and that is the mother of Sir Elton John. When she went to see her son receive the honorary doctorate at the University of London the week before last, the press asked her what her main reaction was to seeing her son in full academic dress and surrounded by undergraduates was that she'd often seen Elton wearing a frock, but it was a surprise to see so many other men dressed in the same way. Many of them, she added, hulks. Well, quite a lot of you are dressed in that way for historical reasons as well as practical reasons. And I hope that adherents of those who oppose women clergy or women bishops or even women archbishops are not ashamed to see the unisex dress that we wear, which is, and you wear, which is a male dress. There is no feminine readaptation, even by Eden Ravenscroft, a very inventive institution that's had to keep pace with the multiplication of universities in recent years. History is not the same thing as prophecy, and historians often make bad prophets and might not get things absolutely straight in their estimation of the future. But I've often thought that 50 years ago, since I was an undergraduate, more than 50 years ago, 61 years ago since I was an undergraduate, if I'd wanted to bet on an investment to make somewhere in the English economy that would expand and expand, come good, come bad, in the next 50 or 60 years, it would, of course, have been Eden Ravenscroft, to whose funds I and you too have contributed each year, increasingly and generously, through its firm position in a sector of the economy that, thank God, has been growing and growing as long as I can remember. There is an aspect of history surrounding me, and if I get to me in the first person, I'm reminded that I've only once before been in this hall, and it was not to this sort of occasion, but to see and hear Sir Thomas Beecham conducting the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra in the days of exile from London, when the regional centres like Leicester were receiving regular concert performances from him. And I've seen his characteristic figure many times, portly, cheerful, joking, even retailing the same jokes, but nevertheless joking, climbing on to this podium or the equivalent of it, to turn his back on you, the audience, to face his orchestra, and to come to magnificent sounds echoing here. And it was in those years, in the 40s and early 50s, that Leicester, as the presenter has also said, introduced me to William Hoskins, who made, in every sense, Leicester the University College and the university, as it was becoming at that time, the real centre of local history for the whole of this country, and very largely through the influence of one pioneer, William Hoskins, and the interesting friendship and generosity and marriage between himself and the then Vice-Chancellor, who was not a historian in any sense, that is, the parent of the two famous sons, who became the almost full-time in the vacation, photographer for William, using his hobby of photography and that technology to enlarge the subject and to record it for use in books, and then later, of course, for him to become one of the pioneer and popularizer in the best sense in that kind of adult education, broadcasting and television, which enabled him to share the vision of England that he'd seen when he was a young lecturer here, and when he and his colleagues developed the study of local history, the study and publication of local history here. in that sense, I'm coming back home, stranger as I am to this particular building, except for musical purposes. Unlike Sir Thomas, I will not turn my back on you, but I will remember, as musicians have to, that there is something like a finite length of time that music should be played, even simple music consisting only of a few notes or a few discords. I was given the strictest instructions that I would never have obeyed as a tutor or a lecturer, and that is to speak for 3 minutes and then to stop, to confess my sins, which is, I suppose, appropriate to the clerical dress I'm wearing, to apologize for those of you who are being kept waiting for what is obviously the most interesting part of the day, getting your own degrees, which you will be enabled to do as soon as I shut up, which I have now done.
The graduands in the Faculty of Arts will be presented by the Dean, Professor Yarrington. Will all graduands in the faculty please stand?
Mr. Vice-Chancellor, I ask you to admit these candidates from the Faculty of Arts to the several degrees for which they are presented.
Graduands of the Faculty of Arts, by the authority of the Senate, I admit you to the several degrees for which you are presented.
For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Nicole Fayard. Josephine Pedersen.
You are admitted to the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Many congratulations. Thank you.
For the degree of Master of Philosophy, Christopher Herbert.
Congratulations. Yes. Congratulations. Well done.
For the degree of Master of Arts in Archaeology and Heritage, Gerard Cassell.
Congratulations. Well done.
Nicholas Kelly.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in American Studies, Samuel Adams.
Congratulations. Well done.
Kelly Arland.
Congratulations.
Andrew Trimes.
Congratulations.
Naomi Church.
Congratulations.
Duncan Errett.
Congratulations.
Samantha Goldby.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Nigel Hodges.
Congratulations.
Catherine Hudson.
Congratulations.
Louise Stevens.
Congratulations.
Tim Wiseman.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in American Studies with a year in the USA, Nicholas Beattie.
Congratulations.
Tamara Booth.
Congratulations.
Lucy Brooks.
Congratulations.
Jane Freeman.
Congratulations.
Emily Groves.
Congratulations.
Stephen Hall.
Congratulations.
Catherine Humphreys.
Congratulations.
Lindsay McMaster.
Congratulations.
The winner of the American Studies Prize, Catherine Mills.
Congratulations and well done in your exam.
Erin Pollock.
Congratulations.
Morgan Salisbury.
Congratulations.
Thomas Slater.
Congratulations.
Michael Sutcliffe.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Ancient History and Archaeology, Martin Ball.
Congratulations.
Hannah Chambers.
Congratulations.
The winner of the Faculty Prize and the Arnold Wickham Gom Prize, Charles Crabtree.
Congratulations and well done in your exam.
Jane Donlan.
Congratulations.
The winner of the Arthur Humphreys Memorial Prize and the Arnold Wickham Gom Prize, Matthew Gibbs.
Congratulations and congratulations on the prize.
Caroline Hardy.
Congratulations.
Christopher Hipwell.
Congratulations.
Kate Hopkinson.
Congratulations.
Susan Morgan.
Congratulations.
Dimitrios Prokopidis.
Congratulations.
David Rees.
Congratulations.
Simon Rhodes.
Congratulations.
Sophie Rigby.
Congratulations.
Alan Taylor.
Congratulations.
Charlotte Tebbert.
Congratulations.
James Thomas.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Ancient History and Archaeology, European Union, Jonathan Jackson.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Ancient History and Archaeology International, Charlotte North.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Archaeology, Daniel Bailey.
Congratulations.
Ruth Beckley.
Congratulations.
Catherine Harrison.
Congratulations.
The winner of the Samuel and Rachel May Prize in Archaeology, Brian Lewis.
Congratulations and well done in your time.
Rebecca Mason.
Congratulations.
Richard Mason.
Congratulations.
Craig McIntosh.
Congratulations.
The winner of the Samuel and Rachel May Prize in Archaeology, Matthew Morris.
Congratulations. Well done.
Richard Riley.
Congratulations.
Benjamin Slatter.
Congratulations.
Chris Stevenson.
Congratulations.
Joanne Sutcliffe.
Congratulations. Thank you.
David Walsh.
Congratulations.
Sarah Walters.
Congratulations.
Dalia Vygotsky.
Congratulations. Well done.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Archaeology, European Union, Gavin Speed.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Archaeology International, Matthew Hick.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Archaeology and Sociology, Jennifer Leonard.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Combined Studies, Catherine Addis.
Congratulations.
Paul Anderson.
Congratulations.
Elizabeth Andrews.
Congratulations.
Beatrice Armstrong.
Congratulations.
Daniel Atkinson.
Congratulations.
Emily Baker.
Congratulations.
Krista Baldwin.
Congratulations.
Eleanor Bamforth.
Congratulations.
James Barham.
Congratulations.
Andrew Beard.
Congratulations.
Erin Berman.
Congratulations.
The winner of the Arthur Humphreys Memorial Prize, Matthew Bland.
Congratulations. Well done in your time.
John Boileau.
Congratulations.
Janet Brown.
Congratulations.
Catherine Burr.
Congratulations.
Melanie Campbell.
Congratulations.
Sarah Cook.
Congratulations.
Alice Cox.
Congratulations.
Samantha Denton.
Congratulations.
Sarah Eggett.
Congratulations.
Joanna Forster.
Congratulations.
The winner of the Arthur Humphreys Memorial Prize, Jade Golding.
Congratulations. And very well done in your time. Thank you.
Mireia Gonzalez Rodriguez.
You've definitely got found. Congratulations.
Alice Hannaway.
Congratulations.
Kim Harnetti.
Congratulations.
Ruth Harrison.
Congratulations.
Eleanor Howell.
Congratulations.
Penelope Jones.
Congratulations.
Ruth Kent.
Congratulations.
Nuziban Kanum.
Congratulations.
Deborah Lomas.
Congratulations.
Matthew Macmillan.
Congratulations.
David Melloy.
Congratulations.
Helen Petley.
Congratulations.
Charlotte Pickup.
Congratulations.
Julia Piddock.
Congratulations.
Marilyn Polidario.
Congratulations.
Paul Pomerantz.
Congratulations.
Rachel Powell.
Congratulations.
John Raybould.
Congratulations.
Tracy Rose Dormer.
Congratulations.
Jessica Sartor.
Congratulations.
Rebecca Sharp.
Congratulations.
Julia
Thank you.
Shipperley.
Congratulations.
Sebastian Simmons.
Congratulations.
Amy Taylor.
Congratulations.
Lisa Jo Taylor.
Congratulations.
Karina Tayob.
Congratulations.
Leigh Ellen Walden.
Congratulations.
Angela Whiteley.
Congratulations.
Laura Wilson.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Combined Studies, European Union, Catherine Barnes.
Congratulations.
Fraser Clark.
Congratulations.
Sharon Fleming.
Congratulations.
Christina Gilbert.
Congratulations.
Natasha Lowe.
Congratulations.
Kerithwen Williams.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in European Studies, Nina Annandale.
Congratulations.
Elizabeth Court.
Congratulations.
Jill Foggett.
Congratulations.
Stephen James.
Congratulations.
Sarah Kelly.
Congratulations.
Stephen Curler.
Congratulations.
Alison Liddon.
Congratulations.
Sally Parr.
Congratulations.
Nazia Vrionidou,
Congratulations.
Catherine Waite,
Congratulations.
Rebecca Walker.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in French, Emily Barnett,
Congratulations.
Brendan Cuff,
Congratulations.
Alexander Gibson,
Congratulations.
Jodie Griffin,
Congratulations.
Lauren Ingram,
Congratulations.
Patrick Lewis,
Congratulations.
Lindsay Mills,
Congratulations.
Martin Neal,
Congratulations.
Tamsin Oates,
Congratulations.
Catherine Warwick.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in French and German, Christopher Allen,
Congratulations.
Stephanie Cunningham,
Congratulations. Thank you.
Tamazine Holt,
Congratulations.
Alexandra Lonsdale,
Congratulations.
Lucy Malone,
Congratulations.
Julie Trees,
Congratulations.
Oliver Wilkinson.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in French and Italian, James Alexander,
Congratulations.
Helen Anderson,
Congratulations.
Michelle Keats,
Congratulations.
Helena Lyon,
Congratulations.
Philippa Major,
Congratulations.
Natalie Mance,
Congratulations.
Jacqueline Macaulay,
Congratulations.
Ruth Murphy,
Congratulations.
Jonathan Price,
Congratulations.
Hayley Radley,
Congratulations.
the winner of the McWilliam Memorial Prize, Laura Samtally.
Congratulations and congratulations on your prize.
Helen Sweeney,
Congratulations.
Holly Taylor,
Congratulations.
Patricia Tierney,
Congratulations.
Lisa Tunnicliffe,
Congratulations.
Alana Wood.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in French and Politics, Louise Gibb,
Congratulations.
Christopher Latham.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in French and Spanish, the winner of the Sykes Memorial Prize, Megan Adlin.
Congratulations. Well done. Well done on your prize. Well done, changing.
Anna Benning.
Congratulations. Well done.
The winner of the West End Memorial Prize, Katie Roberts.
Congratulations and well done on your prize. Thank you.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Geography, Neil Alcock.
Congratulations.
Matthew Armstrong.
Congratulations.
Jennifer Asquith.
Congratulations.
Claire Barnes.
Congratulations.
Daniel Bowden.
Congratulations.
Liam Burlinson.
Congratulations.
Bryony Cannon.
Congratulations.
Suki Chesterton.
Congratulations.
Lewis Clark.
Congratulations.
Amanda Dawson.
Congratulations.
Ryan Dawson.
Congratulations.
Mark Draper.
Congratulations.
Benjamin Dunkley.
Congratulations.
James Farmer.
Congratulations.
Kerry Farmer.
Congratulations.
Laura Gardiner.
Congratulations.
Lorna Gilbert.
Congratulations.
Paul Golding,
Congratulations.
Andrew Grant,
Congratulations.
Stephen Hall,
Congratulations.
Laura Hampson,
Congratulations.
Daniel Hannan,
Congratulations.
Thomas Hoban,
Congratulations.
Piers Holdsworth Hunt,
Congratulations.
David Hewletson,
Congratulations.
Madeleine Jones,
Congratulations.
Francis Lang,
Congratulations.
Sarah Mallison,
Congratulations.
Philip Maloney,
Congratulations.
Gregory Mann,
Congratulations.
Claire May,
Congratulations.
Anna Mear,
Congratulations.
Sally Melhouche,
Congratulations.
Jodie Mills,
Congratulations. Thank you.
Oliver Mould,
Congratulations.
Helen O'Shea,
Congratulations.
Emma Packer,
Congratulations.
Sam Pepin Vaughan,
Congratulations.
James Reeves,
Congratulations.
Lindsay Richardson,
Congratulations.
Eleanor Smith,
Congratulations.
Ronald Stottard,
Congratulations.
Simon Stewart,
Congratulations.
Paul Taylor,
Congratulations.
Annabel Tilley,
Congratulations.
Jane Victor,
Congratulations.
Andrew Wensley,
Congratulations.
James Whittaker,
Congratulations.
Stephen Williams,
Congratulations. Thank you. very
Stuart
much.
Williamson,
Congratulations. Well done.
Andrew Wilson,
Congratulations.
Lucy Woodall,
Congratulations.
for the degree of Bachelor of Arts in German, Thomas Borman,
Congratulations.
Emma Wiggins,
Congratulations.
Our honorand, Helaine Blumenfeld, has become one of the most remarkable sculptors of our age. Throughout her career, she has accepted no compromise in the form and content of her work and has shown herself to be true to an impeccable code of artistic integrity and conviction. In 1985, dismayed at some of the rubbish she saw as passing itself off as modern art, she put together a spoof, tongue-in-cheek photo montage of randomly thrown together bricks and crumbling walls. She took it to a museum in the hope that the resident art director would not be tricked into believing it was serious art, and was duly astonished to be told by him that he was thrilled and always knew that one day she produced really good work like this. Sadly, history has not recorded her verbal response to the museum director's demonstration of artistic illiteracy, but we do know that it reinforced her determination to work only on the basis of her personal credo and committed belief in her creative endeavours. Interestingly, our honorand has initially become a professor of philosophy, having gained her PhD at Columbia University, New York in 1964. Following a visit with her husband, the writer Yorick Blumenfeld, to an exhibition of sculpture in Naples, she became fascinated by a showcase of small terracotta heads. In particular, she was struck by the fact that while they each demonstrated minimal features and expression, they still, in some sense, provided spiritual insight into the soul of the person behind the face. It was not until some months later, when living in Paris, that our honorand came to a critical turning point in her life and realized that she wanted to be a sculptor. Something in those terracotta faces had reached her and told her that this is what philosophy should be all about, namely understanding the soul, the spirit, or in Jungian terms, the anima. Sculpture, she believes, can provide the artist with a potential conduit with which to engender concrete expression of these fundamental yet abstract concepts. Intriguingly, her work has been influenced by Kierkegaard's view that while art may begin with a scream, it must somehow transform that scream aesthetically into music. In short, our honorand's philosophical background plays a key part in providing a bona fide rationale for her work, transforming even brutal messages and ideas into beautiful experiences which raise people's consciousness and which can move them through the power of art. Having studied with Ozib Zadkin in Paris in the 60s, Helaine learned the vital importance of perfection in technique, which has enabled her to express and develop her ever-unfolding aesthetic ideas. In the years since that pivotal experience in Naples, she has become a Fellow of the Royal Society of British Sculptors and someone with an international reputation in the field of spiritual expression through sculpture. Her work has been exhibited in prestigious galleries and exhibitions all over the world, including London, Paris, Dusseldorf, Oslo, and Vienna. Although she and her husband live in Grantchester, they are prolific travellers, dividing their time between home, their native America, and Pietrasanta in Italy, where Helaine has studios. There she can work uninterrupted on her structures, sculpted from the famous Carrara marble. In spite of this international success and critical acclaim, our honorand has acquired the reputation in the art world as being someone who is extremely generous in giving her time, advice, and encouragement to young, talented artists. She also has served throughout the 80s as a member of the Arts Council of Great Britain's Visual Arts Panel. Certainly, our university's association with Helaine bears testimony to her willingness to use her talents to help others. As everyone here will know, the university has a proud record of concern for equal opportunities for the disabled. With the help and support of Lord Attenborough, some £2 million were raised for the Centre for Disability in the Arts. Along the way, the centre has received unstinting support from Helaine, who has frequently given her time and talent there with exhibitions, shows, and sculpture workshops. She has also been a tremendous friend of the university in other ways. Some years ago, the legendary British sculptor Henry Moore was awarded an honorary degree from Leicester. On strolling with the then Vice-Chancellor beside the lawn in front of the Fielding Johnson building, he commented that it cried out for a sculpture. However, Henry Moore died in 1986 and no permanent structure was put in its place. Later, Professor Bill Forster was deputed to broach the possibility with Helaine that she might consider creating a sculpture for the location. Without hesitation, she very generously said that she would be delighted to create a sculpture, and in September 1990, her gift of the work, Souls, was erected in the place identified by Moore. The distinguished art critic Nicola Upson admired the work immensely, describing it as being an expression of breathtaking harmony of growth and movement. As we have heard, additionally, her friendship with the university was shown only last week, when our honorand was at the opening of the innovative exhibition of sculptures in the university's Botanic Gardens. At the request of our current Vice-Chancellor, she had kindly given her time and expertise in designing and arranging the sculpture trail, which is central to the theme of the exhibition. By any standards, our honorand has made an immense and unique international contribution to the arts and to public life, and it is a great pleasure to welcome her and honour her here today. Mr. Vice-Chancellor, on the recommendation of the Senate and the Council, I present Helaine Blumenfeld that you may confer upon her the honorary degree of Doctor of Letters.
I admit you to the honorary degree of Doctor of Letters and welcome you among us. Many congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I gave up philosophy because I thought that words were inadequate to express almost anything, and here I am standing before you and having to look to words to say something that will have meaning. I think that the way Julian began what he said about me is the lesson that I would like to give to everyone, that you must form your own ideas of what you believe is right for you, and what you hope you can change in the world. And if you do, and if you put your energy, your enthusiasm, your intelligence, and the kind of discipline that got you up on this stage today, if you put that behind it, you will be able to effect changes. If you follow the crowd, if you simply accept what is being done, you will see the destruction of many things that you really believe in. I have been fighting, and still am, to bring back the idea of beauty in art, the idea of craft, the idea that art can continue. Above all, the idea that art can move us, can change us, can help us, can give us another vision. And this is why I've been giving time to public projects, to trying to bring art to the public so they can see it, trying to encourage artists who really are the only avant-garde we're ever going to know about. The rest of it's going to be a footnote to history. The piles of rubbish, the sand, the animals in formaldehyde, they will not survive. They will be marginalized, as the effort today of so many artists is marginalized because of the attention given to the bizarre, the shocking. But I think the lesson is well learned in any enterprise or any endeavor or any path that you're taking, that you've got to really be concerned with the world around you. And if you don't put your attention to it, that world will not exist. Thank you.
The remaining graduands in the Faculty of Arts will now be presented by the Dean, Professor Yarrington.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in German and Italian, Lisa Smith.
Congratulations, Lisa. Well done.
Claire Waddington.
Many congratulations. Well done.
Rachel Winnick.
Many congratulations.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in History, Maishal Abushal.
Many congratulations. Well done.
Catherine Albert.
Congratulations. Very well done.
Neil Allison.
Well done. Many congratulations.
Rebecca Aubrey Fletcher.
Congratulations. Well done.
Stuart Bashford.
Many congratulations.
Emma Berry.
Congratulations. Well done.
Jonathan Bondenham.
Well done. Many congratulations.
Ruth Borum.
Congratulations.
Michael Bretherick.
Congratulations. Well done.
Lisa Brightmore.
Many congratulations.
Benjamin Brocklesby.
Congratulations. Well done.
Simon Bruff.
Congratulations. Well done.
Peter Brown.
Many congratulations.
Leon Burton.
Well done. Well done.
Lindsay Butcher.
Many congratulations.
Sarah Cartwright.
Well done, Sarah. Many congratulations.
Thomas Cave.
Well done, Thomas. Many congratulations.
Matthew Chambers.
Well done.
Laura Clark.
Many congratulations.
Helen Clements. Richard Cole.
Congratulations. Many congratulations.
The winner of the D.T. Williams Memorial Prize, Belinda Collins.
Well done. Many congratulations and well done on the prize.
Carly Cook.
Well done, many congratulations.
Tony Coulson.
Congratulations.
Catherine Crawford-Jones.
Congratulations.
Michael Daniels.
Congratulations.
Mark Darby.
Congratulations.
Patrick Davison.
Well, Patrick, well done.
The winner of the Professor W.H. Brock Prize, Catherine Denton.
Congratulations, Catherine. Very well done on the prize.
Neil Edwards.
Congratulations, Neil.
Victoria England.
Congratulations, Victoria.
Stephen Fennick.
Congratulations, Stephen.
The winner of the J.H. Plum Prize, the Professor J. Simmons Prize, and the West End Memorial Prize, Scott Ferguson.
Very well done, Scott. I think you should face the audience to take a bow for that. Well done.
Anna Field.
Well done. Congratulations.
Dawn Gabidon.
Congratulations.
Georgia Gatsky.
Congratulations.
Victoria Glossop.
Congratulations.
David Haddon.
Congratulations, Dave.
Louise Haynes.
Congratulations.
Matthew Harris.
Many congratulations.
Amy Hextall.
Many congratulations.
Ellen Hodgson.
Well done. Congratulations.
Jennifer Holland.
Congratulations.
Julie Holland.
Congratulations.
Daniel Hughes.
Well done. Congratulations.
Stuart Humphreys.
Congratulations.
James Johnston.
Congratulations.
Alexander Johnston.
Congratulations. Well done.
Julia Jones.
Congratulations.
Mattis Crimmins.
Many congratulations.
Dean Langton.
Congratulations. Well done.
Robert Lockyer.
Congratulations. Well done.
Simon Lomax.
Congratulations, Simon.
Sarah Lovell.
Well done, Sarah.
Kate Mulkin.
Many congratulations.
Lawrence Martin.
Well done. Congratulations.
Jacqueline Martinez.
Many congratulations.
Andrew McGuinn.
Well done.
Catherine Merrick.
Congratulations, Catherine.
Jonathan Moore.
Congratulations.
Kate Moore.
Congratulations.
Adam Morse.
Got some supporters out there. Congratulations.
Laura Mortimer.
You have some supporters out there too. Congratulations.
Laura Mosley.
Congratulations.
Helen Mummery.
Congratulations.
David Murray.
Well done. Congratulations.
Julie Mutum.
Congratulations. Well done.
Charla Newport.
Congratulations.
Kate Ostiich.
Got some supporters out there. Well done.
Catherine Peat.
Congratulations.
Karen Price.
Congratulations. Well done.
Carl Rogers.
Congratulations.
Nicola Rose.
Many congratulations.
Liza Rushbrook.
Martha. Congratulations.
Troy Rutt.
Congratulations, Coach. Well done.
Tracy Ryan.
Congratulations.
Mark Shirtliff.
Well done, Mark. Congratulations.
Caroline Smith.
Congratulations.
Ryan Smith.
Many congratulations.
James Stern.
Congratulations.
Helen Stewart.
Many congratulations.
Rebecca Stockley.
Well done, Rebecca. Congratulations.
Alexandra Sturgis.
Alexander, well done.
Matthew Sutton.
Congratulations.
Hugh Thomas.
Congratulations. Well done.
Adele Wayne.
Congratulations.
David Warner.
Congratulations, David. Well done.
Malcolm Wheeler.
Congratulations.
Julia Zafar.
We have some supporters out there. Well done.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in History and Archaeology, Sophia Bix.
Congratulations, thank you. Well done.
Matthew Bristow,
Congratulations, Matthew.
Katie Burnett,
Congratulations. Well done.
Alan Christian,
Well done, Alan. Congratulations.
Nicola Fraser,
Congratulations.
Amy Hobin,
Congratulations.
James Hughes,
Congratulations, David.
Catherine Jeter,
Well done.
Bethan Miles,
Many congratulations.
Lucy Mondon,
Congratulations, Christian. Well done.
Mark O'Connor,
Congratulations.
Jennifer Rigby-Jones.
Congratulations, Jennifer.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in History and Politics, Michael Brandon.
Congratulations, Michael.
Caroline Burt,
Congratulations, Caroline.
Simon Coombs,
Congratulations, Simon. Well done.
Alice Fisher,
Well done, Alice.
Anne Ha,
Congratulations.
Laura Higgs.
Congratulations.
The winner of the F&M Kesner Prize, Emma Keeley.
Well done, and many congratulations on the prize.
Toby Kent,
Congratulations.
Robbie Kerr,
Congratulations, Lauren.
John Lambert,
Congratulations, Lauren.
Christopher Lowry,
Congratulations, Christopher.
Hewell Moore,
Many congratulations.
Jane Morgan,
Congratulations, Jane.
Sally Newcomb,
Congratulations.
Oliver Newnham,
Congratulations.
Grant Robertson,
Congratulations.
Alison Rowlington,
Congratulations, Alison.
Heather Steen,
Congratulations, well done.
Nathan Sutton,
Many congratulations.
Nick Whale,
Many congratulations, well done.
Jennifer Willis.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in History and Politics, European Union, Mark Head.
Congratulations, Mark.
Claire Norton.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in History of Art, Sally Broadbent.
Congratulations, Sally.
Beth Clackett.
Congratulations, Beth, well done.
Melissa Crane.
Congratulations, Melissa.
Alexandra Donovan.
Congratulations.
Angela Edmonds.
Well done, Angela. Congratulations.
Kerry Elverston.
Many congratulations.
Ian Fraser.
Congratulations, Ian.
Anna French.
Well done. Congratulations.
Laura Jiggins.
Congratulations.
Emma Kay.
Congratulations, Emma.
Margaretta Noose.
Congratulations, well done.
Rory McLaren Jackson.
Congratulations.
Daria Mandragin.
Congratulations.
Zoe Millman.
Congratulations.
Mary Murphy.
Congratulations.
Sarah Preston.
Well done, Sarah. Congratulations.
Faye Taylor.
Many congratulations.
Paul Ulmer.
Congratulations.
Sophie Van Bruggen.
That's good support out there, Sophie. Well done.
Jessica Volpe.
Many congratulations.
Lydia Wright.
Congratulations.
The winner of the Luke Herman Prize and the Hilda Willis Memorial Prize, Patricia Yarwood.
Well done, Patricia. You've got some support out there. I think you should take a bow if you face the audience, please. No? Okay, well done anyway.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in History of Art, European Union, Julia Bourne.
Well done, Julia. Congratulations.
Anna Birchall.
Some support out there. Congratulations.
Luke Lupton.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Humanities, the winner of the Humanities World Humanities Prize, Edna Blake.
Well done. Many congratulations, Edna. Very well done. You're excellent to do to have the prize, too.
Jim Hill.
Congratulations, Jim. Well done.
Stephanie Houston.
Congratulations, Stephanie. Well done.
Sheila Lockett,
Congratulations, Sheila. Well done.
Michael Maguire,
Many congratulations.
Jean Payne.
Congratulations. Well done.
The winner of the World Humanities Prize, Philip Whiteley.
Congratulations, Rick. Got a few supporters out there. Well done.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in World Humanities, Anne Boat.
Congratulations, Anne. Well done.
Linda Gowlett.
Many congratulations.
Merle Oney.
Well done. Many congratulations.
Natalie Pariente.
Many congratulations.
Erica Statham.
Many congratulations.
Dawn York.
Many congratulations.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Modern Language Studies, Louise Garner.
Many congratulations.
Kate Harrington.
Congratulations. Well done.
Claire Huggett.
Congratulations.
Victoria Jones.
Congratulations, Billy. Well done.
Jenny Muller.
Congratulations.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Modern Language Studies with a year abroad, Linda Bradley.
Many congratulations. Well done.
The winner of the Theodor Sturm Prize, Hannah Brown.
Many congratulations.
Joy Findlay.
Many congratulations.
Victoria Mundy.
Many congratulations.
Rebecca Pacitti.
Many congratulations.
Stephen Parry Jones.
Very many congratulations.
Victoria Perrott.
Congratulations.
Cheryl Robinson.
Many congratulations.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Modern Languages and the Visual Arts, Anna Mew.
That's what I'll do. Very well done. Many congratulations.
Mr. Pro-Vice-Chancellor, I ask you to admit to the several degrees for which they are presented by my faculty those candidates who are absent.
By the authority of Senate, I admit those candidates who are absent to the several degrees for which they are presented. Vice-Chancellor, honorary graduates of the, graduates of the University of Leicester, and indeed honorary graduates of the University of Leicester, ladies and gentlemen. Degrees are like false teeth. They're very useful to have, but not that obvious when you look at the person who has them. Think about it. I'd like to begin these closing comments by adding my congratulations and those of the staff of the university to all of you who have received degrees this afternoon. In the case of our distinguished honorary graduates, it is one of the good things about a university that it can recognise in this way the achievements of those who've contributed to society, whether it be in business, the community, or academia. It is worth reflecting that the knowledge of our honorary graduates this afternoon gives them weight. Their achievements gives them a very special lustre. We've not weighed their knowledge, we've noticed their shine. It is their visible achievements we are celebrating. Indeed, the university is honoured that Professors Helaine Blumenfeld and Maurice Beresford consented to accept the degrees we have conferred upon them today, and it gives us great pleasure to welcome them to our academic community. To the graduates in the body of the hall, you've gained your degrees in a different way. You've studied over 1, 3 or more years, and your graduation today represents, in every case, a significant personal success. As well as your family and friends, the staff of the university also share and rejoice in your achievement. In their worst moments, some of the staff will have undoubtedly thought of that extraordinary definition of education as the process of casting false pearls before real swine. But more often they will have rejoiced, as Jacob Bronowski did, that students bring a certain ragamuffin, barefoot irreverence to their studies. You have not been here to worship what is known, but to question it. And we hope you will continue to ask questions throughout your lives. If you came to us from school and it is your first degree, you can go forward with some comfort. You may have some debts, but a survey of East Midlands graduates has recently shown that on average, at around age 35, you can expect to earn more than 48% more than your non-graduate peers, and by age 45, 86% more. Some of you may feel at this point that one of the ultimate advantages of an education is simply coming to the end of it. This feeling was encapsulated by a student colleague of mine many years ago on another subject when she said, "It is a pity that Latin is no longer taught in school. It removes the infinite pleasure of giving it up." But in this fast-changing world, your studies may not stop with today's degree. Remember the words of Pope John Paul I, who said, "If someone told me I would be Pope one day, I would have studied harder." You may need to study more to expand, to revise, or to change the direction of your learning. Do remember, if you do that, that this university is a major provider of postgraduate courses. As the Vice-Chancellor said, the university greatly values its contacts with its graduates, and we hope you will stay in touch with us and with those with whom you've studied through the Alumni Association. We rely on your support in all kinds of ways, not least we hope that you've enjoyed your time here and will tell others about the University of Leicester. To the many parents and friends in the hall, we hope you've enjoyed the day and will continue to do so. Your support and encouragement in all its forms has been of the utmost importance to our students and indeed to us. You'll be rightly proud of the successes of those we've awarded degrees to today, and we hope you have wonderful celebrations. University is about all kinds of things, not only study, but also learning from making mistakes. Albert Einstein once commented, "Anyone who's never made a mistake has never tried anything new." It's about learning independence, learning to teach yourselves. It is about appreciating other points of view and other cultures. It is about learning tolerance and consideration. This is the very stuff of civilization and of peace. Finally, as you leave this ceremony today, let me tell you that in America and some other parts of the world, this occasion is known not as a degree ceremony, but as commencement. You are now entering a new phase in your lives. As Helen Blumenfeld has pointed out, empowered by your education, you will be able to make choices that will impact on your own lives and can impact on the lives of others. We wish you every success.
So that brings us almost to the end of the degree ceremony today. There are two groups of people two people I would like to thank, and one group of people. This degree ceremony marks the end of the third year of Dr. Julian Boone being a public orator for the university, and I would like to publicly thank him very much indeed for what he has done for us, and particularly for honorary graduates over the last 3 years. Thank you very much. And these degree ceremonies are only possible through a huge amount of team effort by members of staff in the university, ably led, efficiently and effectively by Cathy Williams, our academic registrar. And I would like to thank the whole team who have they've moved 12,000 people through this hall in the last 3 days. And I think we should show that we really do appreciate that. So thank you very much indeed. Now, one of the things I indicated at the beginning is that normally this is the degree ceremony that the Faculty of Medicine and Biological Sciences attend. And so this year, the Faculty of Arts have a special responsibility because one needs to go from the hall with the applause ringing in one's ears for the degree ceremonies of 2002. So not just to applaud for this faculty, but indeed for all faculties, but most particularly to demonstrate how splendid you are at applause among all the other things that you do. Many congratulations to you all. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much. I now declare this congregation closed.